forward. With me here on the balcony, Rokhaya Diallo, journalist and civil rights activist, if I can say it, and Gunelgo from Kantar Public. We're going to talk a little bit later this evening at 10 o'clock about a poll that you're holding back. You're going to tantalise us with a poll that you have on the parliamentary elections, which might give us, what, some clue as to which way the country's going to go?
Yeah, probably, because this is now the new challenge for Emmanuel Macron. We really need to bear in mind that this is there will be a third round, and this is the parliamentary election. And I think, sorry?
Crucially important third round.
Absolutely, because once again, he may be not in a position to govern, despite he's the president. So I think this is crucial, and I think there are four hypotheses. The first one, this is a majority, and we will know, I hope, a bit more about that. The second one, this is a coalition, a bit like Angela Merkel. But and the third one, this is, coalition, but depending on the ideas by projects and etc. And those two are not at all in our culture as French people. So and the first one, this is a cohabitation. And this is another
cohabitation.
Game.
We've had right-wing prime ministers and left-wing presidents and vice versa.
We had this 3 times.
Yes.
By the way, it suits well the French people, less the politicians.
And it works well in Germany, a grand coalition.
Yeah, but once again, this is not exactly in our culture. So, but why not? This was not in our culture to get a very young president. So I think this is now or never.
I'd say the coalition worked rather well in the UK as well, when the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats came together. Rokhaya, what's quite fascinating about the Macron movement, I keep wanting to call it a party, and of course it's not even a party, it's a movement, is how it's grown from the grassroots. One of their campaign managers was telling me the other day that they brought in a company that had worked for President Obama, and they asked people for just 10, 20, 50 euro contributions, and from that they've been able to spark an incredible movement of young people.
Yes, there was that, but there was also the fascination of the media, which made Emmanuel Macron very visible in the mainstream media. He made so many covers of like newspaper, magazines, so that's he really entered into the French imagination very quickly. Many people supported him, actually many young people, because he had, at the contrary of the other candidates, a very positive, speech, very positive discourse. Even if I still don't really know what he stands for.
Yeah,
it was very vague. So you have many people who supported him, but without really knowing what they would what they would get. And he had the support from a former communist candidate to a very liberal right-wing people. So it's very difficult to imagine how he will govern, and especially because we have 4 different hypotheses.
Just very quickly, I'm going to go to James Reynolds, who's at Marine Le Pen's HQ in a second, but there was no pretense at fairness in the media in this second round. They ganged up behind Emmanuel Macron. Do you have a problem with that as a journalist? I mean, obviously people point to the Front National as a fascist party, and we can have the debate about that, but there was no pretense at fairness, was there?
I would say that it's very important to remind the roots of the Front National, because Marine Le Pen have been cleaning up everything that was related to the history of the party, but we really need to remind that it was colonial people from related to neo-Nazis, and at the same time I think that the relationship of Marine Le Pen with journalists is very important to focus on, because she has been many times revoking many journalists and not allowing them to cover the stories from her HQ. So that means that she's not really supporting the freedom of the press. Today we've seen that many journalists have been kicked out the HQ of Marine Le Pen, and because she wanted to pick the journalists that would be able to follow her.
Okay, Rokhaya, for the moment, thank you very much. Well, good evening if you are just joining us, and welcome to Paris, where we have a special results programme for you on the second round of the presidential. The next president at the age of 39. He is just about to speak. Let's go and listen in to what Emmanuel Macron is saying.
Je regarde direct. C'est normal. On peut baisser un tout petit peu l'écran. On regarde l'image. La cravate. N'hésite pas.
Well, actually, he's not speaking at the moment. What you're actually watching is a rather peculiar backroom view of his headquarters. I told you he was going to make a speech at his headquarters, a more sombre speech, he said, before he went to the Louvre for the celebration with his supporters. What you're looking at there are pictures outside the HQ, so he's going to make that speech, and we will dip into that if and